My name is Bianca La Paz. I'm a senior in urban studies. I'm honored and humbled to be a student representative, and I'm personally inspired to be in the presence of the students from Stoneman Douglas High School and the families of the Emmanuel Nine. As a politically engaged youth, I've witnessed the constant pressure to abstain from complacency. Whether the issues on campus or in the greater Charleston area, the motivation to respond has always been present. It may look like a response in numbers, banding together to show up and make ourselves known, or simply to endure and resist when everyone else has become complicit. As we consider personal testimonies from the Stoneman Douglas High School students and others in the larger context of political reform this evening, we must challenge ourselves to use the courage necessary to wield political will in the face of political expediency.
Gun violence does not restrict itself just to criminal offenders and places, as we have tragically learned in Charleston and these students learned in Parkland. The effects of gun violence can be seen in homes, in churches, and in schools. So here we are tonight for an amazing conversation that's so needed. And I must admit to you, I didn't bring one for all, but I have a token of appreciation and honor collectively to the students. We're going to give them the key to the city of Charleston. So at this point, I present to you the Parkland students and the Road to Change Tour.
My name is Jamal Lemmy. I'm from Parkland, Florida. I graduated from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in 2016, and I've been traveling with March for Our Lives and Roads to Change all summer long, working as the creative director for March for Our Lives, and I'm 20 years old. Thank you for having me.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dalton Bell. I am from right here in Charleston, South Carolina. Let's give a big round of applause and a big thank you to our March for Lives team for making their stop to Charleston, South Carolina. Thank you.
Sorry. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Bria. I'm 17. I'll be a rising senior at Franklin County High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I'm on the Road to Change tour with the Parkland students. And I'm so excited to be here to talk about inner city gun violence and how it affects brown and black youth every day. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Gamble. I'm also from Charleston, like Lauren and Dalton are. I'm one of the local organizers of the March for Our Lives that happened here. I'm a political blogger, and I've been honored and humbled to work with the students that are surrounding me right now. So thank you all for coming to Charleston.
Charleston, how you doing? I'm Kyra. I'm a rising senior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and I'm super excited to talk to y'all tonight and have great conversations and talk how gun violence affects all of us, not only Parkland, but everyone across the country, and how we can work to change that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matt Deitch. I am the elder of March for Our Lives. I am 20 years old, slightly older than Jamal. I graduated from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in 2016. I have two siblings that were in the school when the shooting happened, and I am the chief strategist at March for Our Lives. Thank you.
So the first question is for the entire panel, and it is, what brought you all here today?
Specifically for me, what brought me on the road to change, you know, after graduating from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and just knowing the culture of the school, the culture of the people, I just felt like it was more of a moral obligation for me to be a part of this movement. Because on February 14th, I lost one of my best friends, Joaquin Oliver, in the tragedy at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And Joaquin was 17 years old. Joaquin was an immigrant to this country. His family was, he also was an immigrant to this country. He gained his citizenship not too long before the shooting happened. I got to go to prom. I got to graduate. I got to enjoy college. I get to enjoy life every day, but that's something he would never get to experience. And I know that that is the sad reality for families and many young people in this country. And knowing being a person of color, being a black and brown person in this country, I knew that if I cared about my community, I had to stand up and I had to do something, because at the end of the day, I have to look out for people who look like me, and I have to look out for people who are as young as me and the people who are dying in this country. And the last thing I wanted to say, as you know, everyone knows the tragedy that happened at Mother Emanuel Church and the 9 who lost their lives. And I know that, like we always say, gun violence comes in many different forms. So as being a part of March for Our Lives, we had to recognize that, and we want to build strong coalitions with different communities, because at the end of the day, to solve this problem, we have to be united and we have to have strong coalitions, because young people are dying. People going to church are dying. People watching movies are dying. People going to concerts are dying. And one thing I think our government doesn't want to accept is, America, we have a gun problem. We have a gun problem. So I think it's important that we have these conversations to, come to these solutions to solve this just terrible violence epidemic in our country. Thank you.
I think I'm here tonight because every day I turn on the news and I see another statistic, another shooting that's happened, another tragedy that should have never occurred because our politicians lack the care and conscience to make the right decision. I'm here because I want to be heard by the people that represent me, both in Columbia and in Washington. And I think with as many voices as we have tonight, we can be heard, but we can only be heard together. Thank you.
I gotta sit on the edge of my seat for this question. I'm here for all the Trayvon Martins, the Dontre Hamiltons, the Philando Castiles, the Eric Garners, and every person of color who were washed away by media and their gun violence story was left untold, because they deserve this platform as well, just like everyone sitting on this panel. They do not have the voice to sit here because their voice was taken away. I live in an inner city, and gun violence is so normalized and conditioned with me as a youth of color because I let it be that way. I accepted my fate and my destiny, but I'm sitting here right now to tell everyone here that's not my reality, and that's not going to be anyone else's reality sitting in that crowd, sitting here, anyone. And so as a movement, it's so inclusive that we have everyone sitting in this conversation. Doesn't matter your color of your skin, your background, your religion, LGBTQ, any community that you identify with, we all need to be a part of this conversation, have a seat at the table, and eat for our goal.
It's kind of hard to follow that one up, but I'm here today because, like Dalton said, our lawmakers are not listening to us, and this November, we can decide who our lawmakers will be so that they will listen to us. So I'm here today to make sure that everyone in this room turns out to vote on November 6th and puts lawmakers in office that will listen to us.
For me, what brought me here was an accumulation of senseless shootings in the media. I think from the time I was 13, I remember August 7th, 2014, hearing of Michael Brown's shooting. And I think that woke me up, and that woke me up with sort of reality I live in, where the color of my skin could dictate if someone thought I should live or not. And I could be hunted, I could be slaughtered in my own neighborhood walking home with Arizona and Skittles. And then it sort of came to me when the shooting at my school happened. I lost my friend since I was 5, Helena Ramsey. And it hit me that my life isn't guaranteed in this country, and we have to fight to change that for everyone. This should not be my reality. This should not be anyone's reality.
You know why I'm here, but specifically why I'm here is because I met Tim Scott, and don't boo, vote. But I met Tim Scott 3 weeks after the shooting happened, and my good friend Jackie Corin told him an incredibly emotional story and made him cry. And we thought that, oh, maybe he had a change of heart. And then we learned today that he attended every single funeral of the victims of the Mother Emanuel massacre. And people like Tim Scott cannot represent us if they continue to do nothing.
And I ponder again as to how we can reconcile our intentions of safety versus our impacts of complacency. I find our very convening here tonight necessary because the personal testimonies rendered are indeed significant factors in the agenda setting and formulation phases of the policymaking process. Thank you. So that concludes our town hall. I want to thank everyone for coming out, and let's give ourselves one more round of applause. Thank you.